Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, what's going on? How we
There
doing?
we go.
How are you feeling, man? I'll be honest with you. I wasn't sure this was going to happen today because I wasn't sure with the injury situation where you were at and if you were allowed to call and what the situation was going on. But how are you feeling this morning?
I'm good, man. Everybody knows football. You know, these crazy things kind of sometimes happen, but just a little nick. I'll be all right. You see, I came back out, so just a little bruise. But no, we'll be back good. So I'm not too worried. So of course I was gonna make this call this morning.
Well, I'm so glad you did, and we appreciate that. And I know it's never easy to call in after a loss, and with, I guess we're all taking a deep breath right now. And we're all a little gun shy because there are so many injuries on this football team. So let me get this one out of the way right away as Jonathan Greenard joins the Power Trip Morning Show. Tell us your reaction to hearing that your starting quarterback was injured and you're going to be without him for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of look at it a little bit last year, it's kind of what the same thing kind of was leading up to, and obviously he got injured. So, but our mindset and our mission is to just keep playing. I don't play quarterback, so it didn't matter if we had our starter or not. I was going to be able to go handle it, so I can't really worry about it. But I know KO and everybody else and this whole staff and this team, we're just building something special to where, no matter who's in the game, we're going to have no drop-off of talent. So everybody prepares as if they're going to be the starter. But, I mean, that's not the first time I've been through this before in my career. So it's just a matter, it's a great opportunity for somebody else to come in and step in and make the plays and get their name out there the same way somebody else that's been there before.
So obviously a frustrating game a couple days ago for players and for fans. But on Monday, yesterday, when I asked Ben Lieber, former Vikings linebacker, all right, who played well? Give me a couple of names that we can hang our hat on, though. Let's try to spin this positively. And he mentioned you pretty quickly. He's like, Greenard always plays really well. So he mentioned you, I think, first. But then pretty quickly followed it up with Jalen Redmond. And I know a lot of us noticed that, man, he seemed as disruptive as I can remember. What do you like so far through 2 games out of Jalen Redmond?
Yeah, J-Red is just a guy who's really been making plays since he came in last year. I think I was talking to somebody before the season. But just his disruptiveness, as you alluded to, he can literally bend. He's powerful. He's fast. It's hard to get him on double teams. I mean, he's literally a Swiss Army knife in a lot of different ways. Just how he can be so versatile and throughout the front. But J-Red always makes plays, and he's the guy that always just going to keep his head down and just keep working. It doesn't matter where you're going to put him. He's all right. What you want me to do? Go ahead and go. And he's going to do it full speed. So having a guy like him is versatile, selfless as well, and just going to play as hard as he possibly can for his brothers, man. It's just like the greatest teammate you can have, honestly.
How much does it help on the defensive line front with some of the injuries you guys have had with all the depth you have on that defensive line?
Yeah, and that's the thing I was talking about earlier is just it gives these guys so many great opportunities to come in and just make plays. And like I said, there's no drop-off because we all hold ourselves to a high standard. I hold our position groups to a high standard. And J.A. and Graves, they hold that whole D-line room to a high standard. So there shouldn't be any drop-off. And I think that's just how we prepare. And I think that just gives us more versatility, like you say. And obviously when we get in those games, if we need a breather or something like that, we don't have to worry about is if the same production going to be made. Now these guys have been ready the whole time. So, yeah.
Nardog, good morning. Thank you for calling in today. We're talking with Jonathan Greenard of the Vikings. After week 1 and the win over Chicago, especially the way it escalated towards the end of the game, as fans, we were euphoric. There was such a celebration and just this giddiness. And after the Falcons game, it was kind of the opposite. There was frustration and some disappointment. And I'm sure you guys feel some of that. The season is a long one. There are roller coasters. And just in 2 weeks, the elation high and the just frustrating low that has already happened. How do you guys stay in the middle?
Yeah, I think we just always prepared to, I'm kind of a guy that kind of expects the worst until it happens. But that just kind of just keeps us to work. I think when you're a team that's trying to get to where we want to go, you have to fall in love with the process instead of it being the results. Because, when you fall in love with that process, you're willing to do whatever it takes, to get to that point. You fall in love with the hard days of practice. You fall in love with the losses at times just to see that you're going to find, a message throughout these things and to find a lesson throughout these things. So, it sucks. We hate to have these losses. We understand nobody wants that. But we also understand it's a part of the game and understand that, what we've put on tape, last year and things of that sort. Teams are going to be giving us their best. They understand that they're going to have to strap their stuff up whenever they come to play us just because we do so many dynamic things on offense and defense. So we have to expect that. So when we step on that field, we can't just go out there and say, okay, well, we'll have a bad play here, or we'll have to do our job fully here. I mean, no, that's just the opportunity for another team to come in and just dismantle us. And that's where we fight that battle every day against ourselves to not be satisfied with, success. Yes, when you start winning, everything is great, but you find those lessons, obviously, when you take a loss. And we just try to get to the point we don't have to learn that lesson in the loss, and we can just kind of nip things in the bud as soon as we see the things that's affecting us.
When you have success like you did the week before, people like to talk about the culture of the organization. Mm-hmm. People like to talk about culture when you're winning. But
sure.
You rely on that culture when you have a week like this, where you're doing
right.
it. In terms of like the culture that has been built with the Vikings right now, what is it? Which aspects of that culture do you find yourself relying upon, or do you feel like the team needs to rely upon when you run into the adversity that you guys have faced this week?
Yeah, good question. Literally, like I was mentioning before, is I've been on teams that only won 4 games. I've been on teams that only won 3 games. And then obviously been on the teams that won 14. So just understanding the qualities and recipes of a good team. You have to just make sure the energy is always high. You can't have energy vampires, and I think that's the biggest thing that I haven't seen here. As you mentioned before, when we dealt with so much success, it's kind of hard to know what adversity feels like because you're so used to having everything's good. And I think this is a good test for us early on as well, because we have a lot of guys that were on this team last year and understood how it just kind of became such like a norm for us to continuously just win and deal with success. But as we all know, we all have a plan to get punched in the mouth, and I think that this is a great opportunity for us to bounce back and show our maturity, show how we respond back to adversity, because it's the league. We're going to continuously deal with it. Everybody knew coming into the season that it wasn't going to be pretty. We were going to get everybody's best that I keep mentioning, alluding to. But it's just a matter of us just not worrying about that and control what we can control. And I think that, when we got past that win last week, the week before in Chicago, there's a little sense of us like, okay, cool. We understand that we can fight back and deal with these things. And I had to tell the guys that that's just not guaranteed every single week. Some teams, they're not going to let you come back. They're watching that same game to understand how these guys are fourth quarter teams. So when we do get the opportunity to get up, we have to keep their foot on their necks. Same things we're trying to do to other teams are doing to us. So we just got to go back to the drawing board. Understand it's a copycat league. When teams do things and have success, they're going to come right back and do the same things or a variation of it. So we understand what beats us. We understand what we have to do to win. It's just a matter of executing now. So we're going to get back to that drawing board, get ready for Cincinnati, and understanding they're going to try to do the same thing and run that football. And then once we stop that, I feel like we have a really good chance. So that's our mission this week, is to take care of that run so that we can get what we want.
Last question for Jonathan Greenard. And by the way, a Mike Tyson and a What We Do in the Shadows reference in one answer there. I love that very, very much. You're back to finally playing a noon game on Sunday. Is that like back to normal business for you?
Yeah, somewhat. I think that it just gets us, you're waking up, you get right to action, just because it's kind of like how majority of the games go in the NFL. But it was great to play, obviously, the 2 primetime games. I mean, those are literally, as I was mentioning before, that was like my third or second Monday night game. That was like my second or third Sunday night game. So it's an honor to play on those nights. But as you mentioned, we get back and get to somewhat regular programming. And obviously the bank is going to be rocking. I think we do really well in those noon games. But it's a quick little turnaround just because we've been playing these 2 night games. So I'm excited, man. Like I said, I continue to well the challenges that we continue to face every week, just because it just shows us, unlocks a new version of ourselves that people probably didn't know that was in there. For the younger guys as well, to obviously just get a new feel for how the league can be. But I'm excited. Like I said, anytime we get a challenge, man, I'm just ready to see go and attack it.
Jonathan, thanks for the time, man. Good luck against Cincinnati. Please don't get hurt.
Of course not, man. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
See you later.
There he goes. Jonathan.